It's an interesting thing. I was at a conference, and I think one of the leading professors in AI and like a global, he's a renowned authority. He just like joked, privacy experts are the new rock stars of the world, because privacy has become like a mainstream thing now in AI, right? Like people think about ethics, people think about like fair play around like explainability, all those things which are just not even a conversation starter or like even part of conversation 2-3 years ago are experts now at companies.
In 2020, we saw digital health move faster than ever before. But at what cost? How much do you know about the technologies transforming our world? Join us as we build our cyber consciousness.
Can you talk a little bit about privacy and how you can enable AI while also protecting people's privacy? Because it's when you think about it, there's so much data, and so what's like how do you think about that? And obviously you were in this space, so I'd love to hear about your personal experience.
Yeah, definitely. Like initially I thought like there's no way of like protecting data and consuming it from models and running models, but as I started looking deep into it, cryptography and different like mathematical techniques have been around for a while. The big challenge again was that these techniques could not run on the infrastructure before. So they were just never a mainstream thing. But again, in the last 3 to 4 years, infrastructure changes have made possible to bring back different cryptography techniques to protect data while also running models on them. As an example, 2 techniques which I think a lot of companies now are actually using and running, and they're like few companies, just not like 1 or 2, but they're like few companies all across the globe. Europe, Canada, US, Israel, Singapore were working on this, Australia as well. It's called secure multi-party compute. And secure multi-party compute is a basic concept saying like, hey, Ria has a data set, Hassan has a data set. Both of us don't want to share the data set with each other or expose it to each other, but we have a model which we would like to run. Maybe you have location data, I have purchase data. And I want to figure out like what type of trends there were, but we don't want to show it to each other. SMC, secure multi-party compute, can allow you to run a machine learning model between these 2 data sets without sharing the underlying raw information, but you get the insights from it. And at the end of the day, if you think about it, no one really cares about the raw data. People care about the insights from it. So SMC is a great way to protect that. Then there's another technique called k-anonymization. When we look at a data set, we usually say like, hey, let's just hash column A, column B so no one sees it. But k-anonymization is a basic technique which allows you to de-identify a data set while maintaining the data utility of it, right? So like when the data utility is maintained, now you can run a model on that. These 2 techniques are fundamentally, I think, game-changing from a privacy perspective, but with an AI. So like now AI and privacy can work together using techniques such as these 2 to make sure that models can be run, value is generated for businesses. They can also monetize their data, but protect the privacy of the individual. Ria's purchase data should not be exposed to anyone. Hassan's location should not be exposed to anyone. But the value like the company's trying to generate should be there. It's definitely not still mainstream, but it's increasingly becoming mainstream. And maybe 5 years from now, when we look back to this interview, I think privacy, there will be like a full data privacy teams and majority of the companies.
Yeah, I love that. And obviously that makes me very happy being a privacy advocate myself. And I think, finally people are just starting to understand this idea of, of privacy or of companies selling data for profit.
Yeah, definitely.
And then that there are alternatives, right? And so it's nice to hear that that's part of the conversation now. And like you said, it's almost like trending. It's almost trending to be, to be thinking about these ideas. So that makes me really happy.